But Doc Braccio with our What's Up Doc segment, regional psychological services, usually on a Tuesday, but today, because of the holiday, why not on a Monday? Doc, you're going to make me say a big giant word this morning. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And this is a topic we've talked about a little bit in the past here, but catastrophizing, okay? This is a kind of a torturous situation for people. These are when a person imagines the absolute worst occurring, even though there's really no data to back it up. We'll give a few examples here, okay? This would be when a person believes they're going to flunk an exam. They never do, but they're always worried about it. It gets them going, okay? And I have worked with people, students at MSU, others in high school, other places that are excellent students, but they imagine the worst. Another example is an employee, person who has good recommendations, gets good reviews, but has this tremendous catastrophic feeling they're on the verge of being fired. And it doesn't matter what you tell them. This is what they believe. And we'll even give another example. A well-liked person who believes they're going to say or do something that good friends are no longer going to like them. So when this happens, it can overwhelm you. I'm sure you've known people like this, haven't you? That always
I've been that person sometimes. Yeah, there's been times. Seriously.
Well, you think you're only the second best looking guy in town.
No. Yeah, no. But no, I mean, we can focus on that, and a lot of times it's just a fear of the unknown, and so our brains, I don't know, do we naturally go to the what ifs?
I think a lot of times it's just when the what ifs kind of overwhelm you. And now when this does happen all the time, and certainly I'm not going to put you in this category, but it's often due to low self-esteem and fears about themselves in the course of their lives. So unfortunately, when a person has this catastrophic set of thoughts and beliefs, it also can bring on, and even be caused by, but it relates to generalized anxiety. It can be social anxiety, it can be depression, it can be phobias, it can be OCD, PTSD, sleeping disorders, exaggerated pain. So this can really impact a lot of aspects of a person's life. And if you're catastrophizing a lot, it definitely is going to lead to anxiety and often to depression. So I guess, what do you do? I mean, What do you do when this happens? Because it happens a lot. Maybe people to do a little of this, but when it really starts interfering in your life, these are things you have to work on. You got to try to control that inner critic, that part of you that's saying, "Oh, you're going to fail. This is not going to work. Doesn't matter what's happened in the past. Everything's going to fall apart now." And you have to go ahead.
Would you say that at some point in your life, if, let's say this gets to taking over your life, if you can just find a victory here or there, a small victory, that helps, doesn't it? I mean, that makes you, I guess I can make things right. You know what I mean?
Well, you would hope that would work that way, and it can, and it can be helpful. But when you catastrophize, it's a bad habit, Mike. It's a bad thing that people get into, and they become comfortable with it. And when that happens, it's very negative. But you have to be, your point, you have to be mindful of yourself, the positive traits, and you got to realize that this bad habit that you have is really impacting on you having a happy life. But of course, if you can have successes and you can guide yourself or have someone help guide you, and you say, "Well, wait a minute now, I've had success after success here, or mainly successes. So my catastrophizing, imagining the worst, my heart racing, my fears, not being able to sleep. No, this is the kind of thing that can really wear you down, and that's why it's helpful if you have people around you that are aware of this, that you let them know, and then they try to say, "Hey, be more realistic." You also have to get plenty of sleep, because when people are fatigued and tired and worn out, they can get more into what I call stinking thinking, where they start really seeing more negativity, and it kind of gets them down. It can lead to them not sleeping a lot. And when you don't sleep a lot, it can really impact you in a very, very negative way. Now, this is why it's important self-care. You've got to be physically and emotionally looking after yourself. You want to be exercising. You want to be doing some deep breathing, things like this, and really try to get a realistic view of yourself. Mike, it's really hard when you're catastrophizing. It seems so unreasonable. You're talking to a person who's quite successful in life, and they'll say to you, Mike or Dr. Braccio, I just think something bad's going to happen. I know I'm going to get this bad review. And they may have worked somewhere many years. And I'll say, would you get bad reviews? No, but I'm always worried that bad one's coming. And I say, well, take that magnifying glass and get rid of it. I mean, quit trying to make a mountain out of a molehill, and just try to be positive. And I'll make the point too, write out positive affirmations about yourself. I'm a good person. I'm a successful person. I'm going to overcome issues that occur. And then you want to read them regularly. You want to commit them to memory. You want to believe them. You want to live your life based on your reality, because we are what we believe. And if we choose to catastrophize and worry about things, then it's going to completely wear us down. And if you feel there are people that also can feel that spirituality, that they're missing themselves, they're not doing well, then you can seek out a priest or a minister. And then if you're dealing more in a secular mode, you can certainly seek out a therapist who's an expert in cognitive behavior therapy. These are persons that can help restructure your thoughts in a way to minimize and eventually eliminate catastrophizing, because a lot of this is really these thoughts. You get a negative thought in your mind, and it takes over. I'm going to fail. This is not going to work. I know I'm not going to be able to do this. And then the idea is to restructure those with, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to do well, I'm going to continue doing well. And when you do that, that is a very, very positive thing, and it can help you get rid of the habit, the negative habit. Try to look upon it as a negative habit. Thinking negatively all the time is really a thought pattern we've gotten ourselves into. And the goal of when you want to free yourself from this is not going to do it anymore. No mas, I'm done with this. Thing is over. And I think talking to a family physician if you feel it's a medication issue, because a lot of times, too, if things get pretty severe, combination of medication and counseling can really be helpful. And I think if you try to use some of these thoughts, kicking out negative thoughts, being positive, working on positive affirmations, seeking out people that support you, these are the kinds of things that can help you being healthy, getting a good sleep, and not allowing that inner critic to really take over. This is what you really need to do, because you want to have you want to have good self-esteem. You want to reduce fear, anxiety in your life, and you really can't do that if you're always worrying about things and thinking, oh my goodness, the sky is falling. So, my mode as we go into this wonderful holiday, this recognition of the founding of the country, that we say, hey, I want to be free. I want to be a free person. I want to be in control of myself. I do not want to have this catastrophizing, and just really take a concerted effort to kick out this extremely negative and destructive pattern and be on the road to really being in control and realistic. You may run into issues, you may run into failure. I mean, no one leads a life that's straight one direction, but part of life is learning from a failure and not assuming we're going to fail every time we do something, because that'll certainly set you back.
It seems to be a balancing act. Just real quick as we wrap up, one thing that we did, our kids were real shy. And as you may have guessed, I'm not a shy guy, but I used to be when I was really young. I was very shy, and here's the deal. Yeah, here's how I did anyway. I just figured it out myself. Take it off of you. When you're in a crowd of people, make it about them. And so when you go around, forget about you and what they think of you. Have them worry about what they think of them. So you meet somebody new, you go like, right away, you ask questions. How's the family? What's up with that? So what do you do? Where'd you go? And you interview them, basically, and you show interest in them over the top. People love that you're interested in them.
That's very true. That will certainly reduce, I think, potentially a lot of social anxiety and a lot of worry. And another thing, you don't have to worry. You also don't have to worry about failure, because if you're saying hello to everybody, you're not going to worry about somebody rejecting you. So at least that phase of catastrophizing, if you can do that, hard to do if you're shy, but if you can start developing some language skills?
Practice.
Is it talking to people? Yes, practice. Yeah. That would be an area that could be helpful in that phase of catastrophizing. That is right.
Dr. John Braccio, Regional Psychological Services, a little free advice every week. We do it on a Monday this week because tomorrow everybody's off. And Doc, have a very safe and happy 4th of July.
Same to you, my friend. Enjoy yourself. Nice talking to you, Mike. Bye-bye.
You too. We'll talk next week. Bye-bye. 1320 WILS.